Chapter 6. The Shared Secret. Sleep offered no escape, only fractured replays. The impossible starship schematic resolving on the holographic display, the glowing symbols spelling out Kale's proposal. Construct vessel. Designation, Forge. Purpose, physical bridge. Initiate? Eris Thorne jolted awake in the recliner for the third time before dawn, the sterile hum of the sealed analysis node amplifying the frantic beat of her own heart. The resonance link with Kael was quiescent for now, awaiting her reply to their staggering offer, but the silence felt heavier than the communication itself. She couldn't reply. Not alone. Not with this. A message, an exchange of data, that was one thing. Conceivable, perhaps, as some exotic quantum phenomenon, even if FTL. But a starship? An alien intelligence proposing to physically cross the 14.1 light-years? This wasn't just science anymore. It was geopolitics, species-level security, potentially the single greatest event in human history. The responsibility was crushing her. The isolation she'd cultivated to protect the secret now felt like a prison. She needed another mind, another perspective, someone rigorously scientific, someone trustworthy, someone with the standing to lend credence when, this needed to go further. Her thoughts circled, discarding names. Ramirez was too political, Jenkins too conventional. Then, one name solidified, Dr. Jian Li. Jian had been a quiet mentor figure during her doctoral work, a renowned astrophysicist with decades of experience, known for his meticulous approach and, beneath a reserved exterior, a surprising openness to unconventional ideas, provided they were backed by data. He valued evidence above all else, and crucially, he chaired the oversight committee for the Kestrel Array's experimental processing units, including QPROC-7. E7. He would understand the technical context. He was her best, perhaps her only, shot. Decision made, a sliver of fragile calm settled over Eris. She spent the next hour preparing. Not the full story. Not yet. Not the Starship proposal. But the core evidence. The persistent, inexplicable resonance in Unit 7, confined solely to the Wolf 1061 vector. The diagnostic logs showing its reactive nature, the encrypted recordings of the prime number exchange, the clear, undeniable proof of intelligent interaction. It was enough. It had to be. She found Dr. Li in his office overlooking the main observatory floor, nursing a cup of tea amidst towering stacks of journals. He looked up, his usual serene expression tightening slightly at whatever tension Eris couldn't keep from her face. Eris, you look like you haven't slept in a week. I haven't, Jean. Not really, she admitted, closing the door behind her. I need your help. Discreetly. There's something anomalous with QPROC-7. She laid it out logically, clinically, just as she'd rehearsed. The persistent errors localized to one signal path, the hardware checks, the peculiar reactivity. She showed him the raw diagnostic logs, the visualizations of the corrupted data streams. Jian listened intently, his initial look of technical concern slowly morphing into deep puzzlement. This is highly irregular, he murmured, zooming in on a sequence Eris had flagged. It almost looks like constructive interference, but with no identifiable source. And reactive to diagnostic pings? He shook his head. System flaw? Crosstalk from another unit? Ruled out, Eris said quietly. It's completely isolated to the Wolf 1061 data feed, and it's not just noise. She took a breath. Jian. It responds. She activated the playback of the encrypted prime number exchange, showing the resonance patterns coalescing, simplifying, and pulsing back the correct next primes in the sequence 17, 19, 23, 31. Silence stretched in the office, thick and heavy. Jian stared at the screen, his brow deeply furrowed. He replayed the sequence. Then again. He ran a spectral analysis on the resonance pattern itself, his fingers flying across his own console. The results were meaningless according to standard physics. Eris, he said finally, his voice low, carefully neutral. "What exactly are you suggesting this is?" Just as Eris opened her mouth to answer, a silent, high-priority alert flashed discreetly on the secure tablet she carried. An alert tied to the passive monitoring protocol she'd left running on Q-Proc 7. Her blood ran cold. She configured it to trigger only on a massive, sustained energy surge or a complete structural shift in the baseline resonance pattern Kale maintained. Kale was doing something. Now. "I'm suggesting," Eris said, her voice steadier than she felt, meeting Jian's gaze directly, "that we have detected an intelligent, non-local, quantum-level signal originating from the vicinity of Wolf 1061. And I believe I've established communication." She tapped the alert notification on her tablet, a silent testament to the ongoing event. "And I think whatever it is, it's doing something significant right now." Jan Li looked from Eris's pale, determined face to the impossible data she had presented, then back to the alert notification she indicated. Years of scientific skepticism warred with the undeniable strangeness of the evidence, presented by a scientist he knew to be brilliant and meticulous. He scrubbed a hand over his face. "All right, Eris," he sighed, the neutrality finally cracking to reveal deep concern. "Show me everything, from the beginning, and may God help us if you're right." The secret was shared. The burden was halved, yet somehow felt heavier than ever. 14 light-years away, the Forge was on its way. To be continued soon, right here.